who do we have next on the roster?
All right, Manuel. Next up is it's an individual that, let's just say, I'm not particularly fond of at this point in time. You may have heard of this story, but you might not know her name. That is Georgia Clark.
Georgia Clark.
Georgia Clark.
Wholesome American name, wholesome woman, I'm sure.
Yes, lemonade and apple pie.
Yeah, apple pie right there on the windowsill,
yes.
Of course.
Hamburgers and football. Yes. So Georgia Clark, many of you may have heard about her because she is a veteran, or I should say was a veteran English teacher in Fort Worth, Texas, who sent a series of rather urgent tweets to one Donald J. Trump, at real Donald J. Trump, I believe it is, saying she needed help pulling undocumented immigrants from her school. Yeah, just let that sink in for a second. She said, and I quote, "Anything you can do to remove the illegals from Fort Worth would be greatly appreciated." Thinking it was, of course, a private message she was sending to her president.
Hustling backwards.
It was instead a very public tweet that the entire world has now seen forever. Manuel, talk to me about Georgia.
Yeah,
here.
so I want to pull up some of these tweets because there are a lot of them. And again, she thought they were private messages to the president. They were quite public.
Yeah.
She spoke about the lack of protection for whistleblowers and the need to remain anonymous. And she put her full name and her cell phone number and tweeted it out for the whole world to see.
Isn't there just a certain degree of beautiful poetic justice in
there? There is.
I hope nobody's done something crazy to this woman. No death threats, people. But
You're right.
if her life was a little bit miserable for a while, I'm okay. I'm good with that.
So in one of the tweets, she said, "Mr. President, Fort Worth Independent School District is loaded with illegal students from Mexico. Anything you could do would be greatly appreciated." She said, "Texas will not protect whistleblowers. The Mexicans refuse to honor our flag." She thought she was doing her patriotic duty, I suppose, by reporting or asking for help to round up so-called illegals. But what she was doing, obviously, it was dumb just off the bat, thinking that this is a private message to the president. That's, but we can focus on that, but let's not even focus on it. Let's focus on the fact that, contrary to what a lot of people believe, the Supreme Court has ruled that all children, regardless of citizenship status, have a right to an education. So here's a teacher trying to have students removed from the system, which violates Supreme Court orders, which violates all sorts of legislation. And that off the bat is just like, you've been in this profession for how long? And here you are basically asking the president to violate the law. And she might even know that it would be a violation of law, but in her view of the world and her view of patriotism, perhaps she felt this is yet another case where the president could violate the law for the betterment of the people and for making our country great again.
Yeah.
So just foolish all around. Another reminder that if you are in education and there is any sense or any group of students that you feel do not have a right to an education, you yourself have to leave the classroom, because every single name on your roster, regardless of who they are, regardless of where they come from, regardless of what regardless of anything, every name on your roster is deserving of a great education from you. And if you don't believe that, you got to get yourself out of the classroom, because it's not the place for you.
Well, I 100% agree with that. And I will just add that, not that this fact necessarily is, makes this transgression any worse, but it's just like a little more salt in the wound. So the Fort Worth school district is about 34% Latino students, right? So if you just imagine a teacher who's in the classroom thinking the kinds of thoughts that she has made very public and put out for the world to see about a third of the students in the room, right? Let alone the biases she may harbor against other students of color in that classroom, right? But just like on its face, it is, it's ridiculous, right? It's unprofessional. It's conduct that cannot be tolerated, and rightly, she was dismissed.
Yeah, they got rid of her right away. They had a public hearing. Nobody spoke out in her favor, which is great. But it does, I guess, remind me and remind us all, I think, that there are a lot of teachers out there who think these things, and perhaps she was one of the ones foolish enough to put it out there in public. I wonder how many private messages have gone to either the president or local law enforcement from teachers of the exact same sort. She is definitely not in isolation on this. And we reported last season about the number of teachers who don't believe in DACA and don't think that children, even under DACA protection, should be allowed to stay here. So again, if you're a teacher in America and you feel these things, you feel that any child at all is not deserving of an education, man, just get out the profession. Just get out. We just don't need you.
There are so many things that one can do with their life.
So many great things you can do out there.
Yes.